Hello, 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 MPSL. I'm Walu, and that's Anos. Say hi.
Hello, hello.
And welcome to the first ever commentating report game. Because this is the first ever and the first week we're gonna do this, please leave suggestions about the audio mixing, everything when the game ends.
Yes, we greatly appreciate it as we get set to kick off here in Baltimore with the Raiders versus the Ravens. What do you expect from this game today?
I expect the Raiders to come out and win this game. I know their last encounter in Season 2 ended up being quite the stalemate until the Raiders just barely won it. But I think the Raiders have subtly improved their team. I know Week 1 was inconsistent, but I think Week 2, I think this is where they bounce back. And it's going to be in the hands of this man, Tua Gromby, who was super shaky last week.
Yeah, he was awfully inconsistent, looking a little bit like Ryan Fitzpatrick or James Winston. And we're going to have to see some consistency out of him. If that means he takes a couple less shots and he just gives the ball to Davion more, that's great. But we don't want to see him turning over the ball as this Raiders team operates around essentially front running.
But Davion's not going to be in the backfield here for this first play.
Complete. Jared with a juke move. There's a flag, though.
He kind of broke that guy's ankle, but it's be brought back. So, you know what this means, Anis? It means that the first pass interception streak is still technically going because that one didn't count.
Alright, can Gromby end the streak of his first pass of these games being a pick?
We'll have to see. This might be a run call, though, because as you were saying, Davion Williams is the centerpiece of this offense.
He is, but they're back to pass. Gromby looking, loads up deep, first play! He's got him open! Oh, the Gump can't bring it down! Gump showing his inconsistency and inability to grab the ball.
No, you're hating there. You're for sure hating there. Gromby, not necessarily having the arm to keep him in stride there, forced Gump to turn around to the ball, and the defender, credit to him, was able to recover because he got burned.
Handoff. Davion tackled after only gaining about 3, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 17. You know, that last play, though, even though Gump had to turn around, you got to bring down that ball.
Yeah, you had 5 steps there, but, I mean, kind of on the wide receiver, kind of on the quarterback.
Yep. The 3rd and 17. Gromby back to pass, fires wide open. Gump this time making up for last time. All the way down to the 34.
And they forgot about the instant quickly. They're just keeping it full speed ahead.
Yeah, and that will end the first pass interception streak, as with the incompletion. But this time it's actually completed.
Yeah. But man, talk about recovery time there. They mess up the first play between the two. They're like, alright, we're going to drill it again to the other side here. We're going to get you open in the seam. And they didn't mess it up that time.
Yes, they did. As Gromby back in the gun again. A lot of passes here. Gromby scrambling. It counts as a rush, not a sack. So he got past the line of scrimmage. Rajesh there on the tackle. You know, they've come out and they're passing an awful lot here for a team that normally runs the ball. Let's see if they start giving the ball to Davion.
Yeah, and this is a Ravens defense that gave up 177 yards on 14 carries last week.
And there's Davion, and he goes for an easy 9. 3rd and inches.
Kind of ruled a bit short there. I personally thought he got the first down, but the refs gonna make it 3rd and inches here.
Well, you know, they've got to make it dramatic for us.
Yes, sir.
It looks like it's past the first down marker, too.
No, that's what I was saying.
Back to pass. Gromby throws, caught. I believe that's Gump with the catch. Finally heating up. He's making up for his incompletion earlier, getting all those yards back as the Raiders are now at the Ravens 15.
Oh, man. And this is basically the exact opposite of a start as they had versus the Bengals, where Gromby just immediately threw those picks and was just completely off.
And there they go to Gump again, feeding him.
Yeah,
Gump
no.
up to 65 yards now, receiving on 3 receptions. 2nd and 2, down at the Ravens 7. Can the Ravens defense figure something out?
And right now what's happening is this Raiders offense is simply taking what this Ravens defense is giving. And right now, they're giving up a lot to Gump.
And there's Davion, but he stopped. He only gets 1 on the play, 3rd and 1. And you have to wonder, we're going to go back to decision-making here. Are they going to run it? Or are they going to go back to the pass attack, which has been strong so far on this first drive?
Personally, I think this is 4-down territory, and you have a premier back in Davion Williams that just won the MVP. I don't see why you don't run it here.
I agree, but they're back to pass looking. He throws to Davion. Touchdown!
I mean, that also works. Finding Davion on a receiving play.
Yeah, Davion was wide open, uncovered for the easy touchdown. And what an opening drive there by Gromby, getting the ball to his playmakers.
Oh, for sure. And by playmakers, we mean Gump here, because oh my goodness, talk about an opening start for a wide receiver.
Yeah, and you know, Gump is coming off a week where the first pass he was thrown, he batted up in the air and it went for an interception, and he didn't really get targeted the rest of the game. So it's nice to see that this quarterback and wide receiver have built some chemistry up since last week, and he trusts Gump enough to go to him every single play on the first drive.
Basically, yeah. And now we're going to transition here to the Ravens offense. Started out slow in the first half versus the Jaguars, allowing a bunch of sacks on Elijah Sparks, who kind of seemed like there was rookie pains there, but he settled into the game in the second half.
Well, let's see what they do as we have the kick return here. Out to the 20, breaking a tackle, but then brought down at the 23. And Sparks got quite...
Alright, so here comes Elijah Sparks, the rookie. Those stats are fake.
Well, let's see what happens. You know, last week, Spark came out. He had a very, very slow start. And as it got into the second half of the game, he started to pick it up. To beat this Raiders team, he's probably going to have to be a bit better in this first half.
Oh, man, did you see that run? Did you see that pancake up the middle by the Ravens offensive line? Talk about setting the tone early.
Yeah, strong run, which is good to keep that Raiders defensive line out of the backfield.
Yeah, if you're the Ravens offensive line here in the first half, you do not want Sparks to be running into those sacks like he did in the first game.
Alright, and there's a first down. 1st and 10 on the 34. They're feeding Sellers so far. Pretty good strategy here. Although, it's worth noting last week that the Raiders held the Bengals to 8 rushing yards total. So how effective that ground game will be, we'll have to see throughout the course of this game. Another handoff. He gets a yard after what looked like he was blowing up in the backfield.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, 3 straight running plays for the Ravens, and I mean, they've gotten positive yards in all 3 of them, which did not happen for the Bengals in the game last week. I mean, the Raiders defense was just all on it, and it feels like today they're going to be playing a bit more with respect to the pass.
A toss outside as Kyrie gets in the backfield for the TFL. Shutting that down instantly. Tyweed Hill could not get anywhere.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that this week they moved Tyweed Hill, the speedster, up to their wide receiver 3.
Yeah, so technically he's getting his first start in a sense.
In a sense, yes. Elijah Sparks.
Myers caught. Top short though. 4th and 2. Tyweed Hill again making his presence known.
Yeah, he is a speedster. He's not necessarily known for the short routes though, as Sparks last week made himself known for short passes.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see a lot of that. Oh! He ran into the kicker. This could be a first down.
This will be a first down.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker.
It is roughing the kicker.
Nearly had a block there, but Brando lapsed of judgment, crashing into the kicker. So,
and
hold everything, Raiders.
Down.
Hold everything. The Ravens' offense is coming back on the field.
Can Elijah Sparks do something with this opportunity? This is huge. What a mistake by the Raiders' special team unit.
Yeah, and that's a lapse that these teams that win championships normally don't make.
Well, they did come out week 1, and although they did get the win, it was a pretty sloppy win.
Yeah.
So we got to see. It looks like they've had a little bit of a Super Bowl type hangover. As Smith drops the open pass. No. That is not what you want to see from him. He is the quarterback safety outlet, and he is not catching the ball.
Yeah, that's certainly. He's supposed to be the safety outlet, but that was not safe in his hands. Sparks delivered it to him, but Smith, focused on turning upfield, just left the ball behind.
As here comes the pressure again. Sacked. John Smith gets home and brings down Sparks.
Yeah,
the
and that's
somewhat getting to him.
Yeah, that time the D line just able to overpower the offensive line, and I was looking down the field there, nothing was open.
Not what you want to see. 3rd and 14. And they get a little bit closer. Pressure coming again. Rolling. Fires a dime. Caught, but stopped short of the first. Are they in field goal range? Billy Bob with the catch for 13.
They are, but I reckon against a team like the Raiders, you're going to want to set the tone early. And on a 4th and 1 like this, I think you should go for it.
And they're going for it.
Okay, they're listening to me for once.
And there's the handoff. Sellers, he gets the first. And the Ravens are going to keep this drive alive after getting that roughing call, which got them the ball back. They are bouncing back and making the most of this opportunity.
And as a heavy underdog, if you looked at Willow Clayman's media, he said the Raiders were going to win 58-14. And if you're a team that is that heavily bet against as the Ravens, you're going to want to make every drive count. So I respect the decision.
Nice pass there by Sparks, but quickly broken up by Smith, who was tight on the coverage. And yeah, I mean, the Raiders had to be massive favorites coming into this game. You know, coming off an MPSL ball victory and that big week 1 win over a division rival, they're probably pretty high up there on their horse.
Yeah.
Let's see if here's Sparks. Sparks fumbles the ball, recovered by John Smith.
Oh man, wasn't able to get past the defensive lineman there. It looked like he was trying to extend the play, look for anyone to get open, but that cost him.
And who forced the fumble there? Number 92.
Who is that?
We'll have to find out later in the game. It might have been Gabriel Wood.
Maybe so. Now, the Raiders offense, after that electric start, is going to take over here at their own 28.
And now the Raiders are in the position they wanted. They forced a turnover. They've got the ball. They've got the lead. Now it's time to run the ball.
Yeah, for sure.
And there they go. First play to Davion, but it's quickly shut down. Reese's Cup in the backfield.
Oh man, and yeah, like I mentioned earlier, the Ravens, they keyed in on that run defense this week. They do not want Davion to run all over them like Jamar did.
Well, we'll see what happens. Another handoff to Davion, who's powering forward. He gets 4. They're doing a much better job this week of limiting the running back on the ground, it seems, and they're going to force a 3rd and 7, which means Romby's going to have to do something here.
And I mean, after that first drive, feels like the worries are starting to ease away here.
And here we go. Romby back to pass, looking, running outside. He's scrambling. He's got the first and more. great run by Gromby using his wheels there, something we didn't see a whole lot of week 1.
No, he wasn't scrambling all that much in the first week. He looked to get the ball downfield. He looked to try to just basically be a pocket quarterback, which is not fundamentally who he is.
Yeah, and the scrambling aspect's pretty big for him because it makes him pretty dynamic as he fires quickly a highlighter. He can't hang on to it. Hit by Rodriguez. And we're going to get one more play before the quarter ends here. 2nd and 10.
The coverage came crashing in there on highlighter. Looks like he wasn't expecting the hit to be there so soon.
Yeah, that was a tight window on that slant, as it looks like this is going to be a handoff to Davion, and it is. Outside, blocker's too slow, and he gets wrapped up in the backfield.
Yeah, no, and that's not the blocking you want to see.
No, it is not. If his blockers had swung out fast enough there, that could have been a huge gain. Instead, it's on Gromby again. 3rd and 9.
3rd and 9. The last time ended up working out, but this time we'll have to see. It's a bit deeper. It looks like there's going to be 2 safeties on the blitz here, judging by the motion. And it is.
Gromby back to pass. Pressure coming. He fires. Caught. I believe that's Tebow. What a throw by Gromby with pressure screaming in his face.
Yeah. Bit of a mismatch there. Tebow ended up being lined up on the CB4, Tupac Shakur, who is not big enough to make that matchup work.
Yeah, and the way Gromby navigated the pocket there, he saw the pressure coming, he stepped to his left and then through. That was excellent pocket navigation. He's back in the gun again, looking, fires, caught by highlighter now for 7 yards, and it looks like Gromby's come out and he's hot.
Yeah, and kind of picking up on the theme of the last drive there, we remember Gump dropped that original pass because of the pressure from the DB getting to him. And this drive, highlighter drops a pass because of the pressure of the DB and immediately makes it up.
Exactly. It sounds like these Raiders players are coming with a vengeance. Another dime on the run to Gump again, who's having himself a game right now. Gromby up to 100 passing yards as the Raiders convert. Gump already at 74 yards on 4 receptions.
Yeah, and I mean, we were talking about how they should play through Davion, but right now Gromby's shutting us up over here. He's making these plays on his own.
For a team that normally is very run heavy, the run blocking hasn't been great this game, and it's been put on Gromby, and he is getting the job done.
For sure.
As we get to 2nd and 3 here, on the 19.
So here we go for the
backfield. Handoff with a block. He gets by 1, down to the 10, breaks the tackle, and he's down at the 8. 1st and goal for the Raiders.
And we put praise on Davion Williams. That's why he's able to turn nothing into something there. Shrugging off the tackle from the corner, is just able to turn it upfield and getting so many more yards after the contact.
Well, let's see what they do here. Will they feed him the ball? It's another handoff, but instantly blown up in the backfield. The Ravens saw that one coming. Martinelli in there with the TFL, and there was just nowhere for Davion to go there.
No, sir. They crashed the box heavy on that one, expecting to run to Davion after that play that they just gave up. They did not want to make the same mistake twice.
And this looks like another run play here, but Gromby back to pass, looking, feels pressure, and he's sacked. Hunter Edge gets there.
Yeah, Hunter Edge screened by his O-lineman there, and Tua Gromby, that's his blind side. He doesn't see it. He rolls out right into that.
Not much you can do there. You can only hope that the Raiders have something planned here for 3rd and goal from the 17. That's a long one. Gromby looking, fires in the pocket. A dime to Tebow! Through the coverage, right into the breadbasket, touchdown, and Gromby is playing insane.
Yeah, no, it feels like these longer yardage situations for the Raiders have been more advantageous for them than these shorter yard plays. You have to say it. Like, they've been stretching the ball out so much more effectively.
Wow, what a window he got that in. Great coverage by Rodriguez. You can't get much better than that, but that was just a perfect throw and catch.
For sure. Oh, man. Right in the breadbasket, as we say. And it looked like there were some breadsticks that were trying to get their hands on it, but no sauce.
No sauce. All right, well, 7 minutes left in this second quarter. What can Sparks and the Ravens do?
They're going to need to start hurrying their pace up. Even though they do like playing through those flat routes, the Raiders will not just be willing to give up those flat routes in this game. They want to hold Sparks to as few yards as possible, as few completions as possible. And you look back at those early plays, the biggest one that calls out to me is that pass to Juan Smith where no one was on him and he simply dropped it. If you're the Ravens, you just excuse Smith for that and you keep feeding him, because that is your best matchup.
You've got to. You can't go away from one of your best weapons. Especially last week, he was the best weapon on this offense. Dante Sellers probably a close second. But I will say Sparks did run pretty well as well. So, I mean, you got a couple options, but you can't limit your options. And Sparks on a keeper wrapped up quickly, though, only getting 2. The Raiders prepared for Sparks on the ground.
Yeah, you were talking about options. That's an option right there. Sparks keeping it himself might have made the wrong decision, but still able to get yards.
Yeah, and this Ravens offense has really got to figure out something to get themselves moving here.
Yeah, it feels like a bit of a repeat from last week where the offense was just stagnant. Here's Sparks, able to get the first down.
There he goes. It feels like right now he is the offense.
Yes,
his tight end and wide receivers aren't really catching it. His running back's doing all right, but he's having to carry it himself an awful lot here. He fumbled before, and we got to hope that he can keep the ball in his hands and start distributing a little bit here.
Man, and speaking of distributing, there's his bread and butter. Those nice little drag routes over the middle finds Billy Bob on that one.
Yeah, we saw that last week all game. And it worked. It worked. Especially in the second half. When he settled down, he made the throws, and they moved up and down the field.
Yeah, I'm starting to get some deja vu, personally.
Throw out to Sellers. Clark. Sellers mows him down, and he'll get the first down. The Raiders' defense, if they want to stop him, are going to have to be able to wrap up.
Yeah, and I guess if you're the linebacker closing in on Sellers, you're not thinking he's going to pull out the stiff arm. He's normally more evasive than powerful, but if that's time, just put the man on the ground.
Oh, handoff. Sellers. Joseph Smith in the backfield. Sellers will still get 1 on the draw play.
And that's the tackling you want to see if you're the Raiders. So it's 2nd and 9 here for this Ravens offense. You're going to have to see if they can push the field if they're just going to keep taking these short gains.
Pass outside caught. That is Tyreek Hill, the speedster.
Yeah, no, I guess they're allowing him to cook in the short game, which, like I said earlier, isn't really one of his strengths. We didn't see this an awful lot in his college with what he described was the worst quarterback in his life, Hunter Boylan, and Sparks certainly an upgrade.
Back to pass, fires over the middle. Caught. Billy Bob this time.
Yeah, he's in his rhythm. Those short routes starting to become much more clearer to him as this game has progressed.
Yep, and I feel like it's got to be composure. He gets used to the timing after a bit of the rush early and feeling the pressure, and then after that he starts to settle in.
Yeah.
This is the thing you want to see from a rookie quarterback.
But that time, I think he let the pressure get to him, let it go a bit too early, and did not find his man on the curl route.
Well, the Raiders did a good job of clogging up the middle of the field there with a lot of zone.
Yeah. Bit of a
And
play versus
that
coverage
fallback
mismatch.
Handoff, Sellers to the outside. Cam beats the blocker, though, and wraps him up, leaving him from only with a gain of 1. 3rd and 9.
When that play started, I thought he could take it a bit further than he did, but Cam Chancellor, excellent heads-up play, saw that the running back was going outside and not taking the inside block there, and is able to get his hands on him.
He passes outside. Sellers with a juke! Destroyed Russell Clark's ankles, and he's going to get the first. Dante Sellers making the play when he needs to.
Oh man, back-to-back drives, 3rd down, Sparks sees him open, allows him to cook, and last time I was talking about how when these defenders close in, they're expecting a bit more evasion, and that's what I meant. Sellers just absolutely cooking the closeout there, oh man.
All right.
2-minute warning is
in
up.
The gun. Back to pass looking. He fires. Batted down. Clark was all over that, and that was underthrown.
Yeah, just wanted to get a quick play in there before the 2-minute warning, but Sparks not able to get it the distance it needed to go.
Back to pass, looking. He gets Smith his safety option, 3rd and 4. So manageable bit of yards here. Will they be able to convert as we come to what looks to be close to the end of this half?
Yeah, and you have to wonder if this is going to be another flat route to Sellers and just seeing what happens. I mean, it's worked the past 2 times. We'll have to see. It is a screen. It's going to Sellers.
It is. And there's Sellers again.
Yeah, no. Sellers has been critical on these 3rd downs. And not much time to waste here. Only 50 seconds left. 5 wide here for Elijah Sparks.
Back to pass, looking, throws, picked, and that's Clark. Clark rushing down the sideline. Sparks gets there and wraps him up. 42 seconds left on the clock, and the Raiders have all 3 timeouts.
Oh man, so this has just swung in the other direction completely. Let's take a look at that. Clark looked like he did get his hands on the receiver there for a bit, but is able to just step right in front of Dumbass and gets the ball on the low.
Yeah, he got his hands on Dumbass. That is so funny to say.
Yeah, that is such a weird sentence.
Keeping him from starting his route, keeping him inside that 5 yards, and that gave him enough time to position himself to make the play.
Yeah.
And what a huge play by Clark here is now Bromby and this Raiders offense have a chance to go up 3 scores by halftime in what's been a very clean game by the Raiders.
Yeah. So
Bromby fires JRJ down the sideline. Instantly a call to timeout down to the 34.
That's in range, I believe.
I believe they are on the edge of field goal range now.
Oh man, Jerry Rice Jr., quite the natural speedster, and he was known for that coming out of college, made a difference on the Eagles. He never saw a ring, and now that he's on the Raiders, he's looking to propel them to their 2nd in a row.
Bromby, he gets it to Tebow. Tebow gets forward. There's another timeout. The Raiders down to 1 timeout, 30 seconds left on the clock, and they're at the 25.
And to me, up 14, it does look like they're looking to play for a field goal here.
Well, we'll see. They've got a chance to take a shot to the end zone.
We'll see. I mean, normally when I see teams wanting to score a touchdown here, at least going all in for it, they normally try to play a bit more on the outside, but Bromby's been taking what the defense gives him on the inside.
A play call change here.
Bit of an unorthodox formation for the Raiders. You don't see Highlighter lined out wide.
Goes inside. That was a very questionable play, and you might be right. It looks like they're playing for the field goal as they're going to let this run down.
Yeah, no, they flipped the play. Highlighter lined out wide. Normally he's inside, tucked in there on the slot route, but Oh wait, are they going for a touchdown?
They're going for it.
Bad decision.
Back
This
to
is a
pass.
terrible decision.
Brooks fires, caught. Looking up with 1 second left.
That is terrible awareness by the defense.
Terrible awareness, and you got to bring on the field goal.
I'm sure these animations are misleading. There's no way.
And there's the field goal unit.
I was gonna say, there's no way that they're gonna go for the end zone with 1 second here. So there you have it, 17-0 in the first half. And the Ravens have been a second half team this season, so we'll have to see how they respond.
And yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough here. Down 17-0 to the Raiders is not an option to be in. You're up against the best defense in the league with one of the best secondaries. How do you really come back into the game?
Oh man, it all starts really with the Ravens offense. I mean, I feel like the defense outside for that first drive was actually doing like pretty well there, containing the run, and then containing the pass is a whole different story, but we'll have to see. But back to what I was saying, really does start with the offense here. I mean, Elijah Sparks has been rattled by this significantly just incredible Raiders defense. First off, he's just going to have to settle in some more.
Yeah, this is going to come down to Sparks and those playmakers making plays. He's going to have to get the ball out, and he's going to have to be efficient.
Yeah, and you wonder...
On the return, wrapped up. Strokes with a great tackle, keeping them down in their own 18, as here comes Sparks after halftime.
Man, and you have to wonder if you're the Ravens here, will Sparks be able to start finding success on plays that aren't like 3 yards down the field and then letting the wide receivers develop from there? Because right now what I'm noticing is that the drag routes have mostly worked, but when he looks down the field, like say 10 yards, it's not been there.
Risky throw there into the center of the field into what looked like almost double coverage. Smith able to get in front of it and bat it down. The Ravens are really going to have to open it up. I don't think you can keep running all these routes over the middle of the field. You've got to stretch the field a bit here.
Yeah, make the defense respect you more so they loosen up on the middle.
And they actually kind of did it on that play by sending Sellers out into the flat. They have to respect that because that was a play that worked pretty consistently last drive. But this time they go to the inside to get the open receiver.
Yeah, I mean, that's the logistics of a game there. You see what the defense is doing and you adapt.
He gets it to Sellers on the screenplay. Oh, but the blockers are beat, making it 4th and 2. Silva doing a great job getting off the block and stopping Sellers short.
Man.
4th and 2.
I was fully expecting Sellers to pull some heroics off again, as he did on the last drive, just converting every single third down. But that time, the defense got tired of his shenanigans.
And there's the kick. Booming kick. JRJ with the catch. He's got a block or two. Ooh, blown up. But he's at the 39, and out comes the Raiders offense.
That was a pretty good hit there by the special teams unit guy. Oh, man. Kind of rocked him.
Yes, he did. And here goes Gromby and the gang again.
And you see how the passing game worked in the first half. I think, personally, they're going to try to lean into the run game now that the defense is a bit on their toes. But
well, the first play is a pass, and he fires to JRJ, incomplete. JRJ, who hasn't done much this game. Interesting that they tried to feed him early. Let's see if they give the ball to Davion. He can get something a little bit more consistent going.
Yeah, Davion had that receiving touchdown early, and he's kind of gone radio silent. Which is not something you saw a lot last season. I mean, Davion was involved on every play, it felt like.
Oh, wow! A seam up the middle to Tebow. What a throw and a catch there. And yeah, it just looks like Romby's taking over this game. They're deciding to go with the hot hand.
Oh, Yeah, no, he's just able to basically get it down the middle at will, it feels like. Maybe the Ravens, they're keyed into more of the short game this week, and then everything downfield, it feels like, has been open, and oh my goodness, it's another one.
The JRJ!
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
you're kind of able to predict where the ball's going, but it feels like the Ravens simply haven't been able to catch on to the fact that, hey, Robbie wants to move the ball down the field. Oh man, 5 wide.
And he gets it out to Gump for another 5.
Yeah, no, so forget what I said earlier. I mean, they're telling Davion to sit down on the sidelines, chill out, save him for later weeks.
Romby.
Although, this does look like a run set.
It does.
Oh,
And it's
no.
another pass. He fires into coverage there. Dangerous throw. Had he let it a little bit more, he could have had Gump for a touchdown there.
Yeah, no. Pressure was sent at him, so he was forced to make that throw early, which means he wasn't able to necessarily put it right on the money. Oh, man. They really just... Oh, man.
ARJ open, caught down to the 4. Romby extremely efficient.
Yeah, and as I was about to say, like I said earlier there, it's really just a tale of two sides of the field here. You have the deeper end, and you have the shorter end. It feels like the Ravens are completely dominating them on the short end, and then any time this ball goes past 10 yards, the defense is just lost.
I agree. It seems like they've done a good job keeping everybody inside, keeping everything in front until, and there goes Davion in for the touchdown. But every time we get an extended yardage play, the coverage just isn't there.
Yeah, no, and that'll be Davion Williams' first rushing touchdown of the season.
And it comes in a game that honestly, he's been pretty quiet. I mean, he got that run touchdown, but he hasn't really done a whole lot on the ground. Hasn't needed to, as the Raiders go up to 24-0 over the Ravens.
Yeah, no, he definitely, honestly, hasn't been needed just because of how well Bromby's stretching the field right now, which means Davion's going to take a bit of a lesser role. We didn't see this at all with the previous season Raiders, but this is why you tweak with your wide receiver room, you see a potential weakness, and you continue to improve it.
Absolutely. And last year, the wide receiver room just didn't get it done for this team. And it felt like Romby really had to battle sometimes.
I wouldn't really say it was Bromby. I felt like it was Davion doing the battles. That man was averaging 200 yards per game, it felt like.
Well, what I mean is Bromby had to battle with his receivers, right? Even when they would get open and he would make the throw, it was oftentimes a drop with something that really should have been a catch.
Yeah, no, I can see you on that one there. Coming from a place of frustration. I'm sure this is a cathartic experience for you, as here's first down for the Ravens.
Back to pass, Sparks dumps it off, big hit by Tripp, only allowing 1.
Rocking the cradle there is John Tripp, and I mean, go for it. There's been nothing open for Sparks that hasn't been one of those short routes. But 5 wide here, normally we do see teams try to stretch the field, but we'll have to see what the Ravens attempt to do here. It's going to be a drag.
Again, wrapped up short, but it puts him in good field position.
No, and if you're the Ravens, realistically, this game kind of looks done. You want to get it down the field, just go to what works. Just keep finding the middle of his drag routes. The Jags weren't able to stop this, and breaking the 4th wall here, I'm certain Madden doesn't know how to get a defense to stop a drag route.
As a handoff to Sellers, he dives up the middle, running over people, and he gets the first down.
And there he is again. It felt like similar to Davion, he was put on the back burner, but not similar to Davion. This offense needs him.
we will see what happens here. They've really got to get something. They got to get points on the board to stay in this game. Pressure up the middle. Sparks running. Does he get the first? He got it.
Elijah Sparks using his legs there, reminding the defense, hey, I'm still a dual threat. So yet another first down for the Ravens on what's been a promising drive so far.
Sparks back to pass, fires, good throw and catch there. Tyweed Hill, 5 receptions today. It might only be for 25 yards, but he's shown as a reliable option when the ball's thrown his way.
Yeah, for sure. He's had the space on his cornerbacks, which is honestly an impressive accomplishment when you consider the team he's facing.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the best defense in the league, so you got to take everything with a grain of salt here. Sparks is facing a real challenge here. Billy Bob, 5 for 36. It feels like Billy Bob and Tyweed Hill really make up this wide receiver core. Dumbass really isn't even on the team at this point.
That's crazy. It's first and 10 here for the Ravens, wanting to keep the momentum going. They hand it to Sellers, and Sellers has space. Oh, man.
Sellers had a good game so far. Every time he touches the ball, it seems like good things happen. First and 10 to the 20. Will the Ravens get their first points of the game?
I mean, if you're the coaching staff, you're sure hoping so. It's been long enough here for the Ravens. Sparks in the backfield. Has Sellers, gets it to him.
And Sellers holding on to it despite a great hit by John Smith. Really, this whole offense has been short and over the middle.
And it feels like they're just doing exactly what they were doing against the Jaguars in the second half. It really is a deja vu scenario. They're in a huge hole, and they're just playing down the middle, and it's been working.
Back to pass. Pressure coming. Sparks runs up the middle. He's got a block. Touchdown. What a play by Sparks. Seeing the gap in the middle of the defense and taking it all the way in.
Yeah, and smart not to force something there. Saw the middle wide open, and the Red Seas kind of parted for him. Good blocking by his wide receivers. You don't see that often.
Yep, and you saw Tyweed Hill there and Dumbass make an important block to let him get there, and they're going for 2!
Ooh, this is interesting. Gonna make it a 16-point game instead of a...
Handoff. Sellers. Oh! John Smith stops him.
They desperately needed the 2 there. Putting it at 8-24 would make it 2 touchdowns, but now they're back to the drawing board. 3-possession game.
Wow.
And it kind of looked like he had some space there, but he sort of hesitated and ended up cutting right. And cutting right was not the right decision because his blockers were also trying to move people to the right.
And here we go with the kickoff. If you're the Ravens, you've got to stop this Raiders offense on this drive.
Yeah, and specifically, you got to stop allowing Tua Gromby to throw 15-plus yard passes on your head.
All game, he has just picked apart that secondary when he needed to. As we get the return here, JRJ breaks a tackle, but stopped quickly at the 22. And Davion only 9 rushes for 30 yards. Like I said, he hasn't been the X factor in this game. A huge surprise for the Raiders.
No, yeah, it feels like it's a bit of a fucking body swap scenario here, where we're watching a team with a passing identity take over the Raiders.
Could this be the future?
Oh, man.
A handoff, Davion. He's going to get 2. And at this point, they're really just running the ball to run the clock.
For sure. If they wanted to get yards, they just look down the field again.
Yeah, and this Baltimore secondary really needs some help. Whether it's a schematic change or a depth chart change. They got to do something at this point.
For sure,
Pressure
but I
coming
mean,
to Gromby, caught by Davion, whose blocker fails, but Davion with a spin move breaks the tackle and jukes one.
oh my God, Davion Williams making an impact on the receiving end there. Oh man, smooth moves, young man. Oh my God, that spin move was filthy.
Wow. Gromby, back to pass, pressure, he turns around,
Ooh.
Incompletion's better than a sack.
Incompletion's better than an interception. It looked like PCN had his hands all over that, but just wasn't able to come up with it.
Very true here is Gromby is now back in the gun. Back to pass, looking, Gromby fires behind, but still caught by Highlighter.
That catch doesn't really make sense, but oh my goodness. Kind of looked like he caught it through his defender.
He did.
Oh my God,
he did.
With one hand.
Wow. This Ravens secondary just can't stop anything.
Man, and they're not catching any breaks either. That's a pass that you don't expect to be caught in any vicinity.
Handoff, Davion with space! Oh, we had one man to beat. Great run by Davion. That's going to get a first down and keep the clock running.
Oh man, Davion Williams almost saw his season 3 form come out there. Nearly had it to the house, but just wasn't able to beat past the safety.
Are the Raiders going to start running the ball again? Nope. Gromby back to pass, fires, caught, Tebow down to the...
Almost scored the touchdown there, and that's going to end the quarter.
As we head into the fourth quarter, first and goal on the one for the Raiders in what's been a dominant and clean performance.
Yeah, they have not allowed the Ravens to really escape the cage in a metaphorical sense. There's another free
And there's
touchdown.
the touchdown with Davion.
Yeah, no, Davion
honestly,
not necessarily getting the ball that often, but he's been getting the ball every single time in those goal-to-goal scenarios.
Well, on this drive, you got to remember, they had that third and long. They got it to him on the screen. He got all the yardage. He then had that nice run as well. So, really, this drive was a good drive for him, and they let him take it in to capitalize it. With the Raiders now at 30, potentially 31 points here. The Ravens are going to have to come out and stretch the field.
Yeah, no, they're going to have to start getting the ball down the field faster. I mean, 25-point deficit. You wanted it to be a 16-point deficit with that 2-point conversion. But that did not work out. So now you're in a worse situation than what you started with.
And now they're going to kick this ball back off. And at this point, if you're the Ravens, you've got to stretch the field. Marks has got to open it up, and you've got to start throwing the ball past 10 yards.
Yeah, but how are you able to stretch the field effectively on this Raiders defense?
That is the trouble. Falling behind to the Raiders is probably the worst thing that can happen, because you're throwing into a secondary with top players at almost every single position.
For sure. And that's what makes coming back against this team so difficult and so rare.
Yeah, and this is even an away game. This is an away game for the Raiders, and they have absolutely dominated and shut down the Ravens offense, which really last week was their only bright spot. Fires over the middle. There's Smith making a play, stretching the field a bit.
Yeah, and Smith kind of been on the back burner here, and that's someone we identified as something that Sparks needs to start throwing to, because Smith, like we said earlier, is probably his most reliable option.
He really is, and they've got to get him the ball. He's the pretty decent size on their team. Billy Bob and Tyreek Hill, a little undersized. As Sparks drops back to pass, dumps it off to Sellers, who's quickly wrapped up by Darion Hall, the rookie TV from the Raiders.
Yeah, getting him some playing time in what's been a bit of a blowout here. I don't blame the coaches for trying to get him adjusted to game speed.
Here we go. Sparks in the gun, 5 wide, looking. Has all day, finds Tyweed Hill over the middle, stops short for 3rd and 1.
And you already know Sparks is looking at those drag routes, kind of like those memes where people's eyes like start to get bigger and their tongues start to roll out of their jaw. It feels like that's the only route he really throws, and I mean, credit to him, it's super effective. But they're going to need something else.
And Sparks scrambles. It looked like he was trying to run to the side to keep passing, but he crossed the line of scrimmage. He gets the first at least, but a very interesting play there.
Yeah, no, it looked like he had some more space up the field, and I feel like he was trying to go out to stop the clock, because you do need every single second left, but that's certainly not the right decision there. He had so much more space up the field.
Sparks fires. Oh, almost intercepted by Tripp, who somehow got his hands inside.
Yeah, it looks like he just stole the ball directly from the wide receiver there. And just said, nuh-uh. Oh my god, what a play by John Tripp.
Sparks, back to pass, looking, fires over the middle, overthrown. And Sparks coming up on a big 3rd and 10 here. The Ravens really have to convert.
Yeah, and they needed Sparks to get that one, and Sparks just wasn't able to deliver that one.
Here we go from the gun again. Sparks back to pass, looking. He's got time. He throws it underneath. Broken up. Great coverage by Clark, who stayed on his man and made sure to knock him down. Cheating dumbass could not reel it in.
Dang, and that was necessary for them in what's basically 4-down territory if you want to win this game. That's going to make it a lot more difficult.
And exactly as you said, here they go. 4th and 10. Back to pass. Spark looking. Pressure coming. He rolls out. Throws. Overthrown because of the pressure. And that is a turnover on downs as the Raiders get the ball back. And this one should be all but over even with 9 minutes left. I have to imagine the Raiders are just going to feed Davion.
For sure, and back to that play there, it looks like he did have a man, but the pressure was all over him. He just wasn't able to get a clean look.
Handoff. Davion outside. Powers forward for a quick 11. And now he's starting to rack up some of those yards as they try to run this clock out.
Yeah, and the defense starting to lose some of their gas here because of how often they've just stretched the field on them. And the run defense now starting to collapse.
Handoff again. Davion cuts inside. Stiff arms. And gets another 10. Davion suddenly moving the ball.
Oh man, yeah, back to what I was saying on just the last play. They're gassed, and Davion's taking full advantage of that. And that's kind of, I guess, what the strategy was. Now that the defense is tired, Davion clearly is not, because he wasn't really that involved in the first half, and now he's getting involved, and he feels like he's at basically full energy here.
Rami rolls out. He's able to find Fisher, who gets another 10 in a very efficient game by Gromby. The Raiders get another first down, now inside the Ravens 15.
And they have scored every single time they've been in the red zone, so I don't expect anything to change here.
Here they go under the gun. Handoff. Davion doesn't have a block. Gets stuffed in the backfield.
Oh man, trying to send a message there as the linebacker flipped him over like a table. Oh my goodness.
Bromby under the center again. And this time he's back to pass. Looking, pressure's coming. He runs into the sack and goes down to Reese's Cup. 3rd and 19.
Yeah, and that time, simply, the pressure got there. I mean, just able to get right around his lineman, and Bromby had no time to react. Good finishing of the play, too, by the defensive end. We know that these players can be slippery at times, so credit to him for finishing the play.
They're under the gun. Is it another handoff? It is. They give it to Davion. Breaks a tackle. Powers forward, and they just opted to run the clock down and take the easy field goal.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, you don't really need a touchdown. They're going to be taking, a 28-point lead here. That's 4 touchdowns, and touchdowns for the Ravens have been at a premium this entire game, only getting 1.
And there's the kick, and it is up and through.
So the question is now, can the Ravens reverse this entire game, quadruple their offensive output, and just don't allow the Raiders to score any points in 5 minutes?
We shall see, as the Ravens are going to have to come out and air it out, and that puts them in potential territory to make some either great plays or terrible plays.
Yeah, it just depends on how open these receivers get and how well Sparks can handle the pressure.
And the kick is up and away. Here we go with the return. Tyweed Hill doesn't really get a block and gets shut down at the 20.
Yeah, no. His blockers seem more apt to block him than the defense there.
Yeah, and, the Ravens, honestly, they haven't necessarily played a bad game. They're just facing a team that's outright better than them.
Yeah, and it's been evident through these plays. I mean, they get some things going, and then it's just the maturity of this Raiders team, the experience compared to this Ravens team that has just kicked in, and that's why they only have 6 points.
And there's a pass. Tyweed Hill instantly hit by John Tripp, knocking that ball out.
And that's what I'm talking about, maturity there. Tyweed Hill was trying to turn up the field, and John Tripp just rocked him and knocked the ball clean out.
And that was another one of those short routes that really, at this point in the game, you've got to stretch the field. He fires out to Sellers, who steps out of bounds. Tripp again on the tackle. Tripp here having a great year for the Raiders.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Tripp has constantly been regarded as one of the best corners in the league, and that certainly hasn't changed in this past season.
Back to pass. Sparks looking, pressure coming, he's scrambling, is nailed by Joseph Smith, making it 4th and 4. Will they punt or will they go for it?
I mean, at this point, you go for it because punting doesn't benefit you at all. I mean, at this point, this game's kind of over unless some miracle happens, so you might as well go for it. And look like they'll do just that. Elijah Sparks, most likely going to pass. Here it is. They need this.
Pass. Fires. Caught. Tyweed Hill. Old reliable throughout this whole game. 7 receptions for 41 yards. He hasn't gotten a whole lot of yardage. Been there when he's needed to be.
For sure. And I mean, although it is a bit late to be throwing those balls, you have to wonder if they just stick to the game plan of just getting it under the field, if they'd be in a better position now.
Great play there. I believe he held on to it. Yes, he did. Billy Bob held on to it. Not really netting them any yardage, but not giving up anything.
Yeah, no, and these play calls at this point in the game have been incredibly conservative.
Absolutely. And you got to hope they're just trying to get this quarterback Sparks into a rhythm. Plenty of time on this play. His line protected him all day, and I guess nobody got open. He scrambles and goes down after gaining 9. But you got to think they're just trying to get Sparks into a rhythm, hoping that next week they'll be able to bounce back, keep him in that rhythm that he's got.
For sure. I mean, especially with the quality of defenders in the backfield there, it's no surprise, really, that they're just not being able to get open. Oh, my goodness.
Goldblum nailed Sparks as he threw an absolute dime to Billy Bob, who then also got completely nailed.
But yeah, the defenders not really allowing anything downfield here, just due to simply being better at this point in their careers.
That's pretty much it. I mean, the maturity showing all game. That ball was thrown a little bit low, but good defense by Darion Hall to be there right at the point of contact. And that's really what you're seeing here with this Raiders defense. Every time the ball gets there, a Raiders player is right there to hit the defender. I mean, the offensive weapon. And they just can't hold on.
Yeah, I mean, no, yeah, the hits have certainly been hard today.
There they go out to Spellers again, quickly wrapped up, about a gain of 8, and there's just not enough time left on this clock.
No, and you have to wonder why they're not hurrying it up at all. I mean, surely you want to at least put some more points on the board.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with rhythm. They don't want to force them out of a... As they fire here underneath, there's Billy Bob. They're probably figuring, listen, we get him the ball quick, we get him to get some completions, we get him in rhythm. We need to get his timing down.
Yes, yeah, and I guess at this point, with the game over, now is the time to just practice what's worked. But at the same time, I also don't get why they haven't been doing this the whole game, because, I mean, it's clearly more effective than their entire game plan so far.
But... And there's Dio with a stack on Sparks.
Yeah, no, Sparks rolled into the blind side and the blocks were not held, and Dio Brando capitalizes on that and just gets to the quarterback. So it looks like this is going to be the final score, barring a deep shot. Sparks has the time, has a bunch of time.
Oh! Feeding dumbass will bring him to 1st and goal, getting out of bounds to stop the clock.
And he was
his
left
first catch of the game.
That man, wide open, probably because of the zone scheme. They wanted him to play a bit deeper and just allowed him to kind of just stay there and just be open. And normally you don't get the royalty of being able to stand in the pocket for 10 minutes, and that's why a touchdown got scored.
And there's a throw, and once again, this time it's Strokes there to hit Smith and keep it incomplete. Not a whole lot that Sparks can do here.
Yeah, and Sparks normally expects that ball to be caught for a touchdown by Smith, who is objectively their best receiver, but today it hasn't felt like it.
Back to pass, Sparks again looking, fires over the middle, and it's picked! John Smith with the pick, and that's going to steal the game.
Yeah, this game is over.
An absolute blowout as the Raiders just the better team.
Yeah, no, and that time the route just got read perfectly by John Smith, and the receiver did not react to the fact that the linebacker was stepping in front of him. He must have been tired from this game and the amount of energy it's taken to even get 6 points on the board.
As the Raiders actually come out in an offensive set here. Oh, because the Ravens have 3 timeouts.
I mean,
handoff. He gets the first. And
yeah,
and steal the game.
I don't see why you'd call timeouts. It's not like you'd get 28 points in 10 seconds. But I mean, anything's possible. And what's possible today is a huge win for the Raiders. 34-6 is your final score.
And you love to see this game overall for Gromby, the Raiders defense. They really locked in. They cleaned up a lot of the play that went wrong last week, and That MPSL ball hangover seems to have disappeared.
No, completely. It just got eradicated. I mean, talk about a bounce back.
Stats here. Elijah Sparks with a 57.3 rating, no touchdowns, 2 picks. But honestly, how much can you expect when you're making your rookie quarterback throw the ball 41 times against the number 1 secondary in the league?
No, yeah, and I mean, the fact that he got 65% completion on this game is honestly quite the miracle, considering how many balls were just broken up by the defense and how many times just there was nothing there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And wow, not a whole lot here for this Ravens offense.
Yeah, no, and the same can be said about the Ravens defense.
Gotta go back, by the way, to total tackles and sort by total tackles and scroll down. Okay. Okay.
Oh, okay. Oh man, we're speaking to a ghost right now.
Yes, we're speaking to the ghost right now, guys.
The ghost that records games for us.
The ghost of Mr. Smith, who just did not show up today.
Oh yeah. No, it was his brother.
Needed it most, and he disappeared.
Yeah, no. Is he related to the Smiths on the Raiders defense?
I don't know. That's a great question. Do the Smiths have another brother?
A secret third brother that was twice removed from the family.
And wow, what a game by this week. 76% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, almost 300 yards. Just efficient play all around. If you're the Raiders, that's what you want to see.
Yeah. You know, I find funny about these parts in the post-game is that we're definitely only speaking to the one person that's collecting stats right now. So whoever that is, hello.
Shout out to you, and wow, Gump and Tebow with the same amount. Grommy really spread the ball around pretty well there.
Oh yeah, everyone got involved, it feels like, even the AI. But no DK Metcalf, so what does that matter?
Really. No DK Metcalf, such a shame.
So, what's the next game we have to record?
After this, we have the Vikings 49ers? Let me take a look.
Vikings 49ers, yeah.
Yep.
So, stay tuned for the next game. It'll be coming to you live, or not live, but pre-recorded at 4.
It'll be at 4:30 with Walu and I back on the commentary. Wow, what a game for Joseph Smith. 13 tackles. John Smith with 11 tackles. PFL and that pick.
You know, it's really difficult to tell which Smith is making the play.
Pretty simple for me. 50 is John Smith. 58 is Joseph Smith.
Yeah. From the neutral perspective of not being a Raiders coach, I'm still getting adjusted to that.
Alright, I'll give it to you on that.
Have a good night, everyone.
On that note, have a great day.
I'm so used to streaming at night that, like, I just said good night on instant.
Alright, have a good one, everyone.